Fresh out of the university, I graduated top of my class, first class in accounting from the University of Ibadan. My parents were overjoyed. I was the first graduate in the Okula family. We didn't have much. My father was a struggling mechanic, and my mother sold foodstuffs at the market square. But they did everything within their power to make sure I went to school. I had always known that one day, my family would depend on me. That knowledge was what pushed me through sleepless nights and long academic battles. My convocation party wasn't extravagant, but it was perfect. I was surrounded by love. My parents, my sisters, relatives, friends, and most importantly, Chika, the love of my life. Chika was a young, struggling businessman who owned a small provision store, yet he supported me in every way he could. My parents knew him well. They knew his intention to marry me after my education. And they liked him, especially my mother, who admired how responsible and respectful he was. 3 months after my convocation, it was time for NYSC. I was posted to Port Harcourt camp. The night before I left, Chika came to see me. He brought provisions and handed me 150,000. I refused at first. He knew how much that money meant to his business, but he insisted. Early the next morning, around 4 a.m., I got ready. By 5:15 a.m., I was at the park in Yaba. My parents escorted me there. My mother could barely hold back her tears. Soon, the bus filled up and we began the journey. After almost 11 long hours, we arrived safely in Port Harcourt. Camp life started smoothly. Everyone was friendly, and even though I didn't know anyone in the city, I quickly began to settle in. While looking for my assigned room, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned and saw a lady struggling with boxes. I greeted her and told her I was looking for room 7. She froze, then broke into a wide smile. She dropped her boxes and hugged me tightly. I was shocked at first, then relieved. She explained that she had just arrived too and that she was in room 7 also. She went back to get the rest of her things and introduced herself as Titi. I told her my name was Bimbo. Inside the room, I met the other 2 girls, Jessica and Angela, whom everyone called Angie. We clicked almost immediately. That night, we talked endlessly. Titi was the youngest, an only child from a middle-class family. Jessica was the first and only daughter of 3, raised by a single mother after her father abandoned them. Angie came from wealth. Her father was a powerful businessman in Lekki, but she revealed that her mother died during childbirth, leaving her and her twin brother behind. When it was my turn to speak, I noticed pity on their faces as I mentioned my parents' occupations. Embarrassed, I quickly twisted the story, claiming my father owned the mechanic workshop and had several workers under him. I also spoke proudly about Chika. Titi laughed and interrupted. "Is that the guy that won't stop calling you last night?" We all burst into laughter. The 3 weeks of orientation camp flew by. As camp was coming to an end, Angie made a suggestion. We should all spend a few extra days at her father's beach house in Lagos. She offered to cover our flights from Port Harcourt and said her brother would pick us up at the airport. It sounded like the perfect way to unwind. Titi was hesitant. She knew her parents wouldn't allow it, and she was right. Her parents came to pick her up a day before camp ended. That morning, it was just Jessica, Angie, and me. We flew out around 10 a.m. It was my first time on a plane. When it began to descend, I couldn't believe we had already arrived. At the airport, we met Angie's brother, tall, well-built, and confident. He hugged her warmly and helped us with our bags. I noticed the subtle tension between him and Jessica. The beach house was breathtaking. 3 bedrooms, a swimming pool, and a private beach behind the house. I had already informed my parents and Chika that I'd be back in 3 days, so I was fully relaxed. That night, around 10:30 p.m., we were lounging when we heard a knock. Thinking it was food delivery, Angie opened the door. A deep, commanding voice thundered, "Nobody make any sudden move." 5 masked men, dressed in black and carrying guns, stormed in. At first, I thought it was a robbery, until they blindfolded and tied us up. My heart nearly stopped. We were dragged outside and forced into separate cars. I couldn't see anything, but I felt the car moving. When it finally stopped, I was taken into a small room. My blindfold was removed, and I was warned not to ask questions. I cried all night, terrified, confused, and filled with regret. By morning, I was blindfolded again and shoved into another car's boot. This time, I noticed something different. I wasn't tied properly. I freed myself and removed the blindfold. and just beside me was a toolbox laying there. Suddenly, I remembered my father teaching me how to open a car boot from the inside at his workshop when I was younger. Adrenaline filled my body as I grabbed one of the tools and pried the lock open. The car stopped, my heart started pounding, thinking I've been spotted. When I noticed no movement, I peeped out to see we stopped at a traffic light. I slipped out unnoticed and crawled away before running for my life. The first car I flagged down belonged to a woman. After hearing my story, she rushed me to the police station. After I gave my statement, a detective asked me to repeat everything, every detail. Then he said something that shattered me. He said I had escaped a kidnapping and trafficking ring they'd been investigating for months. The girls I called my friends were used to lure me and they are already on the run. He said the night at the beach house was probably staged also. Angie's father was the leader and that was their mode of operation, he added. When my parents and Chika arrived at the station, I collapsed into their arms. I expected anger or disappointment, but all I received was love and support. Healing wasn't easy. Nightmares followed me for weeks. But one night, after seeing the news, Jessica was later arrested at the border while trying to flee the country. Though Angie and her family are still on the run, I slept peacefully, knowing that justice had finally begun. If this story taught you anything, let it be this. Not everyone who calls you friend has good intentions. If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories so you won't miss out.